Hey there, Hillary.
Hi, Jenny. How are you?
Doing okay here. Do you look frozen on your screen?
Oh, you don't
Okay.
look frozen on my screen either.
Then we'll just keep rolling with that then.
Okay. Okay. So we are recording on Sunday, May 3rd. If you're listening, it is on or after Wednesday, May 7th, 2025. It's season 7, episode 16.
And you're listening to Kissing Lips and Breaking Hearts with Card Tarts. So welcome. May the fourth be with you.
And with you.
So we got a little bit of YouTube news, and then we got some other stuff to talk about.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adam did an interview that seemed to tell us everything and nothing at the same time.
Yeah, it was really it, it was really vague, actually.
Glad you're all alive.
Yeah.
I feel like it's you two life might be pretty vague right now.
Yeah. It was just really, really vague. You're right. Everything and nothing.
Yeah, we're working on the album. Don't know anything about it. We'd love to tour. Don't know anything about it. Larry's
Don't
great.
he said don't expect anything next year, but expect an album next year.
Right. Because next year they turn 50 as a band. And he's like, we just don't think anything will line up. And, we'll pop a bottle of champagne or something. But I don't know. Maybe we'll do something.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was yeah.
it was a lot. But sounds like he's doing well. Sounds like Larry is full on back behind the drum kit.
Yep.
And yeah, I imagine Bono is gearing up and into full promotion mode for the big book tour movie.
It's true. I can't wait to see him just somewhere. I'd like to hear his voice, even if it's just, hi.
There's this quick little clip of him after Gavin's Dublin show, and it's just him like ducking out of the building, like right before the show was over.
Yeah.
So he lives.
Proof of life, but I'd like to see more.
Yes. Hopefully he's resting to gear up for the big reveal.
Yeah.
What else has been going on? Any other new two news?
I was supposed to see a YouTube band play on Friday in my a classic albums tribute thing, and it was to Joshua Tree, and they canceled it.
That's a bummer.
I was so bummed out. I had like my plans all lined up and everything, like they were up in the air for a while, but when I like the day after I finalized my plans, they canceled it. So that kind of
Because I feel like you bought tickets like a year ago.
it was like a year.
Months ago. Like it was a
It
long
was like
time
in
ago.
October or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you were like, I'm going to the show in May. I'm like, May? That's like 5 years away.
I know.
It didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a lifetime ago, but I think it was, maybe it was September, October.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was so excited about that. I don't know that they could have sold many tickets in my area. I know I had tickets and my cousin got tickets,
Right.
but I don't know what the interest would have been. I assume
Yeah.
that's why they canceled the show.
Because of sick
But like
tickets.
I asked their people and they said they were rescheduling it, but the email from the theater said it was just canceled and they were refunding everyone's money.
That's probably easier than keeping your ticket and like
Yeah.
if they don't have a rescheduled date, like,
Yeah, they're not gonna reschedule it. They were just being polite, I think.
right. Well, I hope they do. And that would be fun.
It would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm in the process of renewing my passport, just
I
in case of anything.
Mine has currently been submitted. We got to get my husband's done. We need to do a picture
Yeah.
to submit it, but ours expire in this coming January. So chop chop.
Yeah.
Because we might have to go see Gavin in Canada. I'm not putting words in anyone's mouth, but I wouldn't come here if I were him.
No, I kind of wouldn't either.
If he does, I'll go see it. I'll be happy to welcome him.
Yeah.
But I hope he comes to Canada, leave.
I don't know. If I wasn't from here, I wouldn't be here.
No, if I wasn't already grounded here,
I'm barely making it, and I am from here.
and I'm actually from here.
Yeah.
It is crazy. It's just to talk about this just a little bit because it's just so relevant that um two things, and one of them is I saw that one of the newest forms and largest forms of refugees in our country are internal refugees, and it's people who are fleeing their state
Ugh.
to go somewhere else. So I don't know that that was like the headline of the article. I don't know if that tech legal refugee, but people are leaving their state because it is a dangerous place for them, especially to be pregnant and stuff like that.
Yep.
I've got a kid looking at colleges, and I'm like, okay, we'll see what happens in a year. But there's some states as of today that you cannot go to.
Mhm.
And that really sucks
Really sucks.
because you won't be able to get health care. And that's not okay.
I saw a news video thing on Instagram, I think yesterday, about these people who lived in like a large apartment complex, and people were going door to door asking if they knew anybody who spoke Spanish because they were going to have a special Spanish party or something,
Yeah.
and they wanted to invite Spanish speaking people.
Yeah.
And like, do you know which neighbors speak Spanish? And I'm like, this is 1939 Germany.
Yeah. This is not, there's no party.
Mm-mm. And if someone asks you if you know someone who speaks Spanish, you do not.
No, I don't know anything.
If you need a translator, use your phone.
Right. Right.
But just don't say, don't tell anybody, which is
Mm-mm.
so awful.
I just can't even.
And you have to think of it like these people, I don't know. I don't know how to think of it. ICE, I get it, they have to do their job, but
Do they?
I don't know.
Can they quit?
I mean,
That's hard. It's hard to quit when
I'm sure it is. And especially your
you have an
government
income and a family. Like,
retirement and everything. I'm sure that it must be difficult. And that's just a lot that they must have a lot on their shoulders, or they're bad people and loving this.
right. Like, I don't, yeah. I just can't imagine even getting into that line of work, but I don't,
But I
I'm,
mean, it's quite possible that they know because I don't know.
if you are ice or no ice and just wanted to give us some general information, like what, how much, I guess you have to, I guess if you have a job, you have to do the orders.
Right.
Like, what happens if you say no? I don't know.
I
I,
assume so, but I get it, if you have to have a family, that's a thing. Like you have to provide for your family in the best possible way you can. Me, I don't have children. I don't
Mhm.
have anybody, that financially depends on me. So I would not have that job.
Right.
I would rather work in anywhere.
Yeah. Well, I know a person, and I'm not gonna give any specifics because it sucks, who is less than 2 years away from full retirement. And this person does have a family and children to support. And without that full government retirement, that that they're up shit creek looking forward, going forward. And that person is just like, eyes down, do your job. I mean, that person is not breaking into people's houses.
No.
Um,
So, are you caught up? Are you caught up with your friends and neighbors?
yes, I am caught up on your friends and neighbors. Speaking of breaking into people's houses,
Yeah.
I am. I watched Fridays yesterday.
Like, I don't know why, because
Good
it's
show.
Don Draper. It's John Hamm, and he can do no wrong in my book. But
Really?
why am I not sad for the people who are getting robbed?
Because they're like I mean, his whole premise of being okay with it is that they're never going to miss this stuff. The whole point of owning it is the value, not that it's sentimental or
Yeah,
it's except maybe that sports ring. That would have been a bad move.
yeah,
Uh but yeah, because he's told us it doesn't matter.
right.
And we like him. So we trust him.
Really like it. So I want him
Yeah.
to do well in life.
We recommend Your Friends and Neighbors on Apple TV.
Yeah. But I
It's
think that
like,
essentially he's actually a good guy. He just has found a bad way to make money.
oh yeah, I don't he's very easy to like as a character. Yeah. So check it out. It's like 5 or 6 episodes in, new episodes on Fridays.
Yeah. It's on Apple Plus.
Yeah. Your Friends and Neighbors. Featuring Don
Yes.
Draper.
Don Draper. What was his name on 30 Rock? Dr. Drew
I don't even
Baird.
Dr. Drew Beard.
Baird.
Baird. What's his name on this show?
Cooper.
Coop. Something Cooper. They call him Coop. What?
Anyway, it's a good watch. Like,
Yeah. Highly recommended.
enjoying it.
It's comedic drama, I guess. Maybe. I don't know.
It's a
But that
it's a dark drama. I mean, a dark comedy.
comedy.
Sorry.
But
It's a
must
dark comedy. I would like some of that. I'm so thirsty, and I didn't bring anything new. Well, I do. I have a little bit of screwball, but I don't really think that's gonna help my thirst.
just for a second it will. That's fine.
Okay, I'm kind of no.
I almost brought down some Fireball I found since I purchased it before they became bad. Okay. So, is there other YouTube stuff?
Well, yeah. Before we record our next, uh, we will have celebrated Bono's birthday.
Donna's birthday.
Bono's birthday.
Yeah. He's going to be 65.
Jesus. How?
I don't know, but just means we're getting older too.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we, for the last 3 years, not including this year, have talked with the people at African Well Fund who do an annual, I mean, it's actually a year-long fundraiser, but right in April, May, they start pushing for donations for Bono's birthday well. And for, let's see, I made a note. This is the 23rd year that they have built a well or some kind of water structure in sub-Saharan Africa in honor of Bono's birthday. Tanzania, they're looking to build 2 wells in Tanzania this year. So I thought we would like go back and play just like some quick little highlights from our last episodes.
Yeah.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Cool. And then y'all can go donate. They did say they just announced today. Well, first of all, what's the campaign title? The Heart is a Bloom. That's the campaign title this year. Last year, we spoke with our dear friend, Irma Magana, who is a teacher in Lakewood, California. And she has been doing this project with her kids called the Water Walk. And for the last 3 years, so I think this will be the 4th year, that has been something, and the students have raised money that then went straight to the African Well Fund. And it's all about, they set up this big obstacle course at school, and they learn how women in sub-Saharan Africa have to go and get and bring back water all
I
the
mean,
time.
they're obstacle courses with like buckets of water.
Yeah,
It's
like they're carrying gallons of water
yeah.
and stuff. And it's really, really cool. You can go to, I just had their Instagram up, One World Club Lakewood High. So One World LHS, Lakewood High School. You can go there and take a look at it. It was just back on April 23rd. They ended the fundraiser, but there's some pictures and stuff from it. And No need to donate now because you can just donate straight to the African Well Fund.
Yeah.
So we talked to Irma from the school, and then Ali Marcel, who is a longtime YouTube fan and a board member for the African Well Fund. And she was a special guest at the event that year, last year. So here's just a tiny clip of what we talked about.
This time, I didn't think I was going to be, I thought it was just the first round and that was it, but I didn't think I was coming back.
You're official friend of the pod now. There we go.
All right.
Welcome back.
Thanks, and nice to be here. I guess I should start. I actually do a water walk. This is my 7th year doing it. I actually am an advisor. Besides an advisor, I'm a teacher. I teach a lot of activism and global citizenship in my classes. I kind of run this humanitarian club, but it's run with students, just like almost like the African Well Fund. I'm kind of like Ali. I'm a board member. All the active kids in there have special projects that we do, and we do 3 big projects, and this is our last one, and one of the biggest projects we've had up to date. What we do is it's called a water walk. We simulate what young girls have to do to get water, and their journey is, I can't even believe that even in our modern age, girls have to do this. So what we do is we simulate what girls have to do. We kind of do an obstacle course around our campus at school. It's all student driven, and what we do is we do laps carrying a bucket of water or a gallon of water, anything, and we have statistics around the campus, and we fundraise, and that's what we do. In the last 3 years, I've been helping the African Well Fund. Years before that was kind of COVID hit, or the organization that we used to build wells kind of rebranded, went down because, of COVID, how things happened when that pandemic hit. But I forgot that, oh my God, I always donate to the African Well Fund. Why not do a big event? And so the last 3 years has been pretty big for us. And I think there's a reason why, but I'll explain that later. But we just did one this past Wednesday on April 24th. And Allie, we invited Allie because Allie's local here with me, and she got to see the obstacle course and what we were able to do. And I'll have her kind of review it, but it's been amazing. And we raised lots of money, which we were very astounded and surprised that we were able to do with a bunch of high school kids.
And this was the most you've ever raised, yeah?
Yes, in any event, by the way. Not even our lemonade stand, because we've also opened up a hospital in Kenya. Or help open up a hospital. And we usually do a famous lemonade stand. We make thousands of dollars. And I got to visit that hospital right before COVID hit in 2019. So this time we were able to, yeah, we do lots of crazy stuff because they have a crazy teacher like me doing stuff with them. There's a lot more, but the water walk was definitely one of the biggest ones we've done.
That's amazing.
I was gonna say the way we raised money is by T-shirts or just donations. We're a Title I school, so a lot of our kids can donate, but they get to at least help out and help fundraise. So I tell them it's not what you donate, it's what you contribute and help us out, and we're all volunteers as well. So and it was pretty spectacular, I think, for what we've done, especially for that type of school that that my kids are attending. But just shows that big hearts can make some changes for sure.
It was so great to talk to them. I loved re-listening to that right now because, it's been a year.
Yeah, and think about the impact that this project must have made on these children that, they'll never forget the important,
No.
the importance. And I mean, living in California, that's another something to be very mindful of is how you get your water.
Yeah.
So, I just think it's an amazing, thoughtful way to
So
learn.
great. And I remember Irma was like, I donate to them anyway. Might as well make a bigger deal out of it. And another part of the episode, she says how great it's just so tangible that the kids do all this fundraising, they do all this work, and then in however long it takes, Irma makes sure they get to see the final project. They get to see pictures, they get to see all this, they learn about the impact in the community, in whatever African town that's in, and that's really cool.
Yeah.
Because lots of times you raise money for remember we would raise money for UNICEF. during Halloween, we have our little UNICEF buckets.
Yeah.
I don't know where the fuck that went. I know
No,
it.
the same. I mean, I remember
Yeah.
fundraisers as kids, and I never knew where the money went.
No. So this is cool. It's really, really cool. Okay. So that episode was May 1st, 2024. So you can scroll down and go look at it. It's not going to be video, it's going to be audio only. So you're going to have to go find it in your podcast player. Okay. Before then, in 2023, we talked to Laura Weinman, who is the graphic designer for the African Well Fund, and she's the one that puts together this crazy ornate book disguised as a birthday card. Her
The
birthday card
creativity.
disguised as a book.
Yeah.
Yeah, that goes to Bono. That, when after you donate, you get to leave a message, like type something out for him, and it literally goes to him. Once they even got to hand deliver it. So let's hear a little bit from Laura.
Okay.
You said that there was someone kind of from every role, and you're the one that does the graphics, right?
I am the graphics person.
You're the graphics person. You filled that role right in.
I did. I don't do it professionally, so it's a nice little outlet.
So when people donate, correct me if I'm wrong, they can also leave a message for Bob, right? And that gets delivered to him, right?
Yes. So we wanted to put a personal spin on it and make people really feel like they were part of the community, part of the U2 fan community. And in those early days, we didn't quite know what we were doing, and we were just asking people kind of blindly for money, So we had people, oh my God, the first 2 years, we had people actually, they were able to like email in pictures and signatures, all sorts of stuff.
Oh my God.
And someone, even like a couple people mailed me stuff for me to scan. And then I put it all together into like a card and printed it out. And it was so much work. It was crazy. It was crazy. So we did that for 2 years. And then we decided to be a little more, well, I guess it was 2004 at that point. So we used like a message board where people could leave their messages.
Yeah.
And so we've been doing that since the beginning, and every year I download them and I print them out in a different way, however, and then make a card out of them. And it's so weird to use the word card because they don't kind of look like your average like greeting card.
They're substantial. Yeah, they're works of art.
So my parents always raised me to make presents for people, but to also make cards in particular because they're more personal. Not to say I don't run out to Target and get greeting cards all the time to send out, but sometimes I like to take the extra time to make something more substantial, and something like this especially. So in the early days, I was an avid scrapbooker, so the cards were pretty scrapbooky, and on a personal level, I think it's kind of cool to look at 20 years of birthday cards because they've evolved. Like I mean, I can't even believe how much they've evolved over the years, and they show like the different types of art techniques I'm into that year because it's just like whatever I'm feeling, I do. Right. But we send them to him. We've gotten a couple of replies from him, like handwritten cards. I actually have one frame right there that I'm looking at right now. And twice I've been able to hand it to him.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh my God. Not to like go off, and I don't even know how much time we have, but we were able to get a meeting with him in Nashville. I think it was the 360 tour, 2011. Is that 360?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got a meeting with him, and I think it was 5 of us. The circumstances were crazy because it was a whole meet and greet situation, and we were way pushed off into the corner because there's like all these like one people and celebrities and whatever over here.
Yeah.
And basically he walked by us to go to the stage, and Diane yelled African Well Fun to him to like get him to stop, because we're freaking out because he was literally walking to the stage.
Yeah.
And we were all like, and I was like holding the card. shaking. And he stopped and he looked around and he's like, I know who you guys are. I know exactly who you guys are. And he like did his famous little swagger around and we're like, oh my God, oh my God. And, he did his, thank you, blah, blah, blah. And then he came over to me so I could actually give him the card. And I opened the card up. This is like so fangirl for you guys, sorry. But I opened the card up to read it to him because we always had the letter in the front that explains the project that we raised the money for.
Yeah.
Like how much his fans gave and loved him, blah, blah, blah. And I was totally tripping over words, trying to read it as Bono's face was like right here next to me reading it. And Diane actually had to finish reading it because I was just like,
Aww.
yeah. But that was definitely a highlight of my life. And he smelled like leather.
That's cool. Okay, and last one in 2022. I remember we were so excited. They came to us and they were like, can we have some people on to talk about the African Willow? And we're like, oh my God, that's cool. So Diane and Elizabeth, who are also board members, and someone describes it as because they're a nonprofit, they have to have this board member structure. But amongst all of them, board member really just means busy bee, that you have a lot of work to do, which I thought was some board member. That sounds very prestigious, but just the legalities of having a nonprofit. So let's just hear a moment of what Diane and Elizabeth have to say. So Diane, you were there in the beginning. How did this all start? What was it like the first year?
The first year was crazy. It all started with a posting on interference, if anybody remembers.
Well, that takes
way back when.
That takes you back, yeah.
And it was after the MTV special aired where Bono and Chris Rock and the then Treasury Secretary O'Neill went to Africa. And there was one part in the special where they talk about a well in Uganda that cost $1,000. And I think that fact hit home with a lot of people. We've since learned it doesn't cost $1,000, but it's still relatively inexpensive. And so a fan said, hey, why don't we try to raise $1,000 to build a well? And a group of people gathered and started discussing, and it just kind of ballooned from there. We just had the right mix of people to move from just this, bulletin board discussion to, one woman had some nonprofit experience, another had a husband who was an attorney, and, we went, another was a web designer. So we went from let's raise $1,000 to build a well to full-fledged nonprofit, first Bono birthday well fundraiser within the space of a year. And it was well into that year before any of us met in person. So this was all virtual, all over the country. We have one of the founding members in Canada. She's still with us. So yeah, that's how it started.
It's awesome. So all the members right now are in North America?
All the members are in North America.
Right.
So it's funny because around that time, Jenny and I went with our third garden tart, Amanda, to Dublin for a big trip. Amanda and I were walking around, and all of a sudden it kind of occurred to us of the amount that we were spending on the trip and the amount it would cost to build a well. And it's
they still tell that story.
We felt very guilty. Like, I don't know why it just hit us all of a sudden during the trip and not, before it. But we're like, we should be building a well and not drinking on, a temple bar. And
it's true. I really think that special really hit home for a lot of people.
Yeah,
definitely. The first time I really had heard about this, clean water crisis for sure. I just can't believe y'all got up so quickly. That's so amazing.
Yeah, the first couple of years were whirlwind. We were able to, the first Bono birthday well fundraiser raised over $10,000. And we were able to that project did average about $1,000 a well because we did build, I think, 10 to 12 projects in Uganda. but it's because it was part of a larger program, so they were able to leverage the money, to provide a number of water points.
Did you all start working with Africare right away?
Did we were looking?
I did my research. I don't know what you had for breakfast.
We were looking online for an organization where we could just designate the funds to build a well. And, one of the founding members just cold called the office, Africare's office, at the time they were headquartered in DC. And the day that she called, Bono was in the office they had an annual honorary dinner every year, and they were honoring Harry Belafonte that year, and Bono was there to do the introduction for the award that night. So we're like, okay, this is fate. Not only was Bono in the building, but they were receptive to the idea. They were like, hey, yeah, give us the money, we'll build the well. So that's how we found Africare.
It's just like the universe aligned.
It did.
It was meant to be. So sweet. That's it. Now you get to go to africanwellfund.org.
Yes.
And donate. They have a donor that for the first 100 people who donate $65 in honor of Bono's 65th birthday will match it.
Oh.
So basically the first $650. No, $6,500? 100 donors at 65.
Yes, 6,500.
The first $6,500 will be.
Yeah.
Did I read that correctly? Let's go have a look see real quick. A generous supporter is offered to match the first 100 donations of $65 or more. I'll just read this real quick. They're launching their 23rd annual Build a Well for Bono's birthday fundraiser. The past 22 years, the birthday well campaigns have raised over $365,000 to fund clean water and sanitation projects in sub-Saharan Africa, which are benefiting more than 100,000 people in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 countries. So their goal this year is to raise $15,000 to build 2 new wells in 2 different towns in Tanzania. So if you're part of that $65, you've helped them raise almost half of that. Yeah, cool. Maybe I'll do that tonight.
So you posted a clip from last week's where we had a musical misunderstanding.
Yeah.
I've been laughing all week, and I've had friends send me messages
oh, really?
Yeah, how great that was.
Oh my gosh, that's good.
Yeah.
On some social media, maybe I forget if it's Blue Sky or Instagram, but Adam's Kimono replied, "It's definitely bass," and then parentheses BASE. I'm like, you would know Adam's Kimono.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. That clip actually just was suggested to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, it is perfect.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah. But when you're on musical journeys, be it recording podcasts or out in the wild,
right?
That stuff just happens, and I love it. I love musical misunderstanding.
And it's just like that connection that we're both it's like I said it and then you kind of froze and I was like, I know exactly what she's thinking.
Yeah, I was trying to read my face. Like, what exactly was I thinking? And I'm like,
you're fish. I know exactly what you're thinking.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Go find it. It's on the socials if you haven't seen it.
I probably mentioned this before, but I had a musical misunderstanding in Houston. I was with a friend in a cab for Pop Mart.
Yeah.
We're going
I love
around
this one.
We're going around this I don't know, roundabout thing, and in the middle is this giant statue of George H.W. Bush. And I said, I forgot Bush was from Houston. And she was like, I thought they were British. And we both just sat there and said nothing. Nobody. I'm like, oh, she's right. I think she was like, oh, she's right.
Both right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Good
that
time.
is hilarious.
I can't wait. I'm sure we have plenty of music misunderstandings in our future. I just can't wait to like,
Because they're impossible to predict.
yeah, totally impossible.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah. We had in a musical environment, not a musical misunderstanding, but we were like people watching in New York, and we saw somebody, and you're like, that looks like your brother, or like that looks like
Old version of someone we used to know.
well, I mean, we were just saying like that.
Oh,
That
yeah,
looks,
we were just being, yeah.
yeah, that looks like African American Stanley Tucci, or that looks like whatever your
That
brother,
person that could be your, it looks like that's your brother. Yeah,
like
yeah.
your brother or whatever, and we're just like, look,
He's playing.
whether they look like that or not, we're just playing a game.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, that looks like old whoever friend, kind of. And Jenny's like, "Ooh, it does look like him." And I'm like, "No, wait, that's
It's him.
it's not the game. That's him old."
Like, no, he's aged.
But Jenny was like, "We're still in the game," and oh my god, you're right. That
Really
is.
does. If that guy got old, that's what he would look like.
And I'm like, that is him.
It was awesome. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It was such a, I mean, every once in a while you get an exact lookalike. So,
Yeah.
like, how many times did we say that person looked like Stanley Tucci? One of them might have actually
So
been Stanley Tucci.
likely, as many Stanley Tucci's as we saw, very, very likely that one of them was the actual Stanley Tucci.
Right. That was funny.
But like, I think the first Stanley Tucci we saw was like in the airport, and then like we were just seeing everywhere we went. We saw Stanley.
No, we saw your brother. We saw your brother all over Dublin.
Well, everybody,
This was weird.
wherever you go, you see my brother because he's like the original hipster.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I remember being in Chicago for 360,
Mm-hmm.
and we're walking down the street, and you and Garden Tart Amanda are like, "Hey, there's Jeremy." I'm like, like I had to do a double take because it kind of looked like him.
You look like him.
Yeah.
They all do.
Yeah. But I am too. I got a long weekend, and I have a long week actually.
Yeah, I back to Michigan one more time next weekend. This time for 2 nights.
Oh, speaking of that, Jenny was on U2X.
I was on U2X.
He was.
I was driving to Michigan 2 weekends ago, and Phil Taggart was on, and he's always asking people to send him messages and stuff, and I'm like, I'm gonna do it. So I went follow his instructions, went to Instagram, but I was driving, so I didn't want to type a message. I just left a little voice memo, and then like 5 days later, he replied, "Oh, I'll play this today," and he did. Yeah, we had to listen to the whole show. It was towards the end. It turns out the Sirius app only lets you skip 6 times every hour. So I was like, I rewound and then, but we got to it. I think by the time I heard it, it was actually live.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that was fun. I should post that. I posted it as a story, but I should post it as a post, as posts too.
I think that's all we have for this week. I found my book.
Oh, you found your book? Okay. What's happening?
Well, firstly, before we wrap it up, again, happy birthday, Bono.
Yes, happy big birthday.
You could probably retire now, but
But don't.
we prefer you. Okay, on next week's episode of The Garden Tarts, Buster gives Bono a very awkward shoulder rub.
That makes me feel funny. It is awkward. Good one.
Thank you. I
You're
still have a
welcome.
bunch to go.
Good. Good. Well, you'll find out next week what happens. Okay, y'all.
What
Go
if
to
one? What if one? What if one of these things came true? I'm like, on the next episode.
That actually happens on our episode.
I mean, Buster's not in real life.
Garden Tart Amanda has been wanting to like recreate these with her Funko Pops and My Little Ponies, and she can do this one.
He totally can do this one, yeah.
Get on it,
Might
Amanda.
need like little steps or something, but
Yeah, but she'll figure it out.
the Halsey's on a horse and she's put a unicorn.
It was Rainbow Dash.
Yeah.
From My Little Pony. She's like, best I can do. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's perfect. We should make a little like graphic feature of those when they happen.
Yeah.
We'll work on that, Amanda.
Send more, and then we'll do like a bunch of them together or something.
Yeah, that'd be great. Please be one of our weekly posts.
Yeah.
People be like, what the fuck is this account? Oh
If you don't know who Buster is, watch Arrested Development.
Yes.
Buster Bluth.
And then watch a whole episode of Arrested Development anyway, because then at the end they always do on next week's episode of Arrested Development, it's something that doesn't happen.
Never happens. But if you start watching it, like, it takes a while to figure that out. Like, hey, that never happened.
Right, because I don't go into an episode thinking about last week's.
No.
So yeah, it takes a while.
It's almost like you have to watch the entire series.
And you're like, wait.
And then rewatch it. And when you rewatch it, then you get the funniness.
Yeah.
That's never going to happen.
It's just weird. It's so funny. So brilliant.
Brilliant.
Okay. Go to AfricanWellFund.org. Donate. If you can do $65, that's great. If you can do $5, that's awesome. Whatever works for you. And go watch Arrested Development.
Yes. Netflix, I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think.
It's just the first 3 seasons. After that, you don't have to watch it.
Yeah. And it's moved around a little bit, I feel like.
Maybe.
I don't know. You'll find it.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all. We say bye now.
Have a good week. Bye.
We'll be back next week with more U2ish content.
In the meantime, keep chatting with us on social media at _Garden Tarts.
Sign up for our newsletter at thegardentarts.com and share with your YouTube friends.
You can support us on Patreon, buy me a coffee, and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts.
Kissing Lips and Breaking Hearts, a U2ish podcast with The Garden Tarts, is created, produced, and edited by us, The Garden Tarts.
Intro and outro music by December.
See you next week.